the worst no I ever had to deal with was from me. I had been successful for about 7 years, working with some of the most elite, wealthy people in the planet, doing the most amazing. And then I have no idea how it happened, but over what seemed to be like a matter of days, a huge amount of self-doubt came into me. And I was heavily concerned on how the hell can anyone take this big, lumpy British guy, and you've seen me, but, so anyone that hasn't seen me, I'm not, Brad Pitt. I'm 240-pounder big biker. And I was dealing with these people. The doubt that I had, the concern that I was stopping myself, I actually went into a 3-day bender. I damn near killed myself on alcohol and came out of it and just realized that I was trying to be someone I wasn't. So the self-doubt was my biggest obstacle that I had to get over. And that was very extreme for me. But I see it a lot now with entrepreneurs that we get so successful. And then as we start to get really successful, we start going inward and we start destroying what that secret sauce was that made us so good in the first place. Right. I got these photographs back. And I'm flicking through these photographs of me with everyone from Arnold Schwarzenegger, Prince Albert of Monaco, all of these big, powerful pictures. And then I got the picture of me leaning up against the Ferrari outside this other dude's yacht. And I suddenly realized I wasn't in that picture. I had sold myself out. I had allowed other people's perception, or what I thought perception of me, to dictate who I would become. And I suddenly realized that I had clients on the boat I didn't even like, but they paid me so much money, I looked at the dollar sign over the person. My relationships were getting weaker over the escalation of dollar price, and the cost was I didn't exist anymore. It's the connection of understanding what a client actually wants, not what they're saying, but what they actually want, that allows you to be able to do more for them. And you breed loyalty. If you're getting a client because they see you with a flashy Ferrari, you have no potential of loyalty in that client. None at all. So when I actually came out of that bender, I sold the car, I got rid of all of my suits, went back to my bike, and I did what I expected. I lost all of those clients. But I was able to go to my original clients and reconnect. Luckily, I hadn't burnt many bridges. Reconnect, do more with them, get in there with them. And I had more loyalty. And I've still got those clients even today. And they recommend me to their clients because I care of what they want and what they need rather than what they ask for. So that's when I had a small dip in my finances, but I find this connectability that gets you greater revenue. I remember as a teenage boy on a building site, for no reason whatsoever, and he hadn't even been talking to me, he leans over and he said, "Son, no one ever drowned by falling in the water. They drowned by staying there." And then he gets up and walks off. And I remember as a kid going, what the hell was that? Not understanding any reason where that came from. But ever since then, and especially in summer 1997, I realized that I was drowning and that it was my decision as to whether or not I stayed there. You've got to have a community. You've got to be willing to put your hand out there. I've learned that no one wins alone. And even now, and I think this has probably been my greatest strength, even now, if something's not right, like when I wrote my book, the first thing I did before writing the book was I contacted about 20 friends that were very successful at writing books. And I went, what do I do? You know, quite openly. How would you do it? When I started doing my podcast, which I'm just getting prepared for, I contacted, Michael O'Neill, Jordan Harbinger, a whole bunch of my friends. And I went, what do I need? What microphone do I need? What do I need this? And I ask people, I'm a great believer, then don't be frightened of looking stupid. And if you are flying solo, then you're actually lying to yourself, because if you're flying solo, you're not listening to this podcast. And if you're on this podcast, you're probably in your community. Start interacting with people, because you never know when you may need one of them to help you. Believe it or not, people want to connect with each other. They want to be able to go, well, you're my person. We don't need now hows. We need who's more than ever. So we want to know, well, this person's reliable as my coach. This person's reliable as my tailor. This person's reliable as my, carpet cleaner. We want to know that we have these who's in our world and that we can connect with and that understand our needs. So try to remove all friction and try to find something that takes little effort. If you're talking to a client and there's a lot of effort, get rid of the client. You will be happier and you will grow a bigger base of business with people that want to work with you for a longer period of time. The biggest lesson I got out of it was the amount of friction I was actually having in my life. And you can get to smile so much more when you get rid of friction in your life.